have the privilege today to explore Kodiak Copper trading on the TSXV under KDK and on the OTCQB under KDKCF, up 70% this year on the forefront of major discoveries during this incredible new era of copper hitting decade highs, being the forefronted metal powering the electrified future. And we have a lot of luck here, and joining to discuss just that, Claudia Tornquist, the CEO. First and foremost, welcome.
Hello, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and it's such a pleasure to get you on. And first and foremost, congratulations on releasing the first part of your mineral resource estimate for your MPD project, which covers 4 out of the 7 mineralized zones. Can you kind of give us more details about the indicated and the inferred resource estimates and their significance for this project?
Well, first of all, it's a big milestone for Kodiak. We've been exploring and consolidating the district for 6 years. And this maiden resource now is where we put a number on it, what we have in terms of mineralization, what tons, what grades. So very, very important milestone and catalyst for our company. It's, as you said, the first part of the maiden resource. We have in total 7 mineralized zones that will make up the resource. 4 of them, we have released the resource today. The remaining 3, we're doing a little bit more drilling, and we'll add that to the total later in the year. So before the year end, the full maiden resource will be available. But for now, we have the first 4 zones. Very pleased with the result. It's starting to look big already. You can see that the project has the potential, the order of magnitude to become eventually a big mine. And we have part of the resource already on indicated level, which is very pleasing, and then the rest on inferred. And yeah, at grades that compare well with other successful BC projects and mines. So big step ahead today for our company. And yeah, as I said, a big milestone.
Yeah, this is incredible, and I appreciate the insight. But let's do a bit of a benchmarking exercise. How does this MRE compare in terms of grade and tonnage to other similar, stage projects in the copper and gold space?
Well, look, if you look around our peers and look at successful peer companies that are ahead of us that have already released the maiden resource, then I would say, sort of in rough terms, what you need to be successful with a project, copper porphyry project in North America, is several 100 million tons of mineralization and at a grade of somewhere more than 0.3% copper equivalent. That's sort of, I would say, a good benchmark. And we have, with our project, the indicated resource at 56 million tons at 0.42% copper equivalent, and then 240 million tons of 0.33. And as I said, that's only the first part. 3 more zones will add to this later in the year. But it's certainly a good starting point.
Yeah, and your MRE is based on a cutoff grade of 0.02% copper equivalent. Why did you choose that cutoff, and how did the different cutoff grades in the sensitivity scenarios affect the MRE?
That's a good question. What cutoff grade to choose? That's always a decision to make for a mineral resource. And it's essentially the continuum between very large project with low grade and smaller project with higher grade, or smaller resource, let me say. And we've certainly opted at a relatively conservative cutoff, 0.2, and smaller tonnage, higher grade scenario, simply because that gives us a lot of confidence that we have a project that we can successfully move forward towards a good PEA. And yeah, as I said, our indicated resource has a grade of 0.42% copper equivalent. And that's certainly a big positive.
And the press release mentions there's still room for expansion. What are the key reasons that make you optimistic that there's still much more kind of going on with the project?
First of all, there is more to come in terms of resource, the remaining 3 zones. So we know already later this year the resource estimate will become bigger. And then over and above that, we see a lot of potential to extend the resource estimate with more drilling. It's really a true maiden resource in the true sense of the word, in that the zones are all still open, and most of them in multiple directions. And there are several areas where we see very low-hanging fruit in exploration terms, where we believe with some more drilling, we can add significantly to the resource estimate.
Absolutely. And speaking onwards and upwards, given all this, what are the next steps in the timeline on this property?
Well, the news flow will be, first of all, expect the technical results report from us. That's very near, in the next month or a bit more. And then we've started drilling several weeks ago. So the drill results will start coming in the summer and then throughout the fall. So lots of news from there. And later in the year, then probably Q4, the second part from the mineral resource, and also then plans for the next steps beyond that, the further work we're planning to do next year in terms of drilling, network, evaluation, etc.
And for current shareholders and investors on the fence, why is Kodiak Copper a compelling long-term investment opportunity? And I know copper is a screaming commodity right now as the price continues to propel higher, but what's your perspective on it?
Well, copper certainly is a good place to be at the moment. Supply deficit coming and lots of demand. But for Kodiak specifically, what I think at this point makes us a very attractive investment opportunity is simply the fact that our valuation still is a long way behind our peer companies that are more advanced, that are already past the resource stage. There are quite a few of them whose market cap is 3 or 4 times or more than ours. And what I've heard time and again from our shareholders is that it was really difficult for them to really value Kodiak. We had 6 years of exploration, but how much is that now? And is that actually, does that look like economic potential? That was very hard to determine for the market before our resource, but now those numbers are out, and that will give the market a basis to value us. And I'm confident that's a big catalyst for us, and will over time close the valuation gap to our more advanced peers.
Yeah, and Kodiak seems to be becoming incredibly compelling as investors start to be waking up to the value proposition there. But we will pass that off to the viewers. We'd love to know what you think in that comment section below, and consider subscribing for news catalysts like this as it comes down the wire. Of course, we'll bring it to you here, and we'll leave all the links in the description as well. But on that, we look forward to catching you in the next one.